What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense, and we got to talk TMZ because I think they're in bed with Diddy. Like the video's intro, please. We got a lot to get into, and we don't have a lot of time.
I was listening to Make It Make Sense. Shout out to Make It Make Sense. Thank you.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Big moves.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
No, this is the party.
Oh, why? I just come back when everybody get here. Nah, stay. Nah, it's cool. I just come back later when everybody get here. I said stay! Oh, Diddy, all right, I'm here.
Party with me, Daddy.
I'll be the first one here, okay. Where everybody at?
It's just me and you in here today. Yeah. Now come dance for Brother Love.
I mean, ain't no music playing right now.
I said dance for Brother Love! Take that.
Okay, guys. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. If you are not new to the channel, hit that like button. We have a good time around here. Now to this story. I saw this like maybe an hour ago, and I was like, whoa. Diddy trial victim number 3 never cooperated with feds, never wanted to testify. I do not believe that at all, but it is very interesting coming from TMZ. And it's an exclusive. Of course it is. Federal prosecutors are taking a big gamble with one of their star witnesses in Diddy's sex trafficking trial because the woman they call victim 3 has always made it clear she does not want to testify, TMZ has learned. Why is she part of the superseding indictment? It says, during jury selection this week, lead prosecutor Maureen Comey admitted the feds do not know whether the alleged victim, one of Diddy's ex-girlfriends, intends to appear in court to testify against him. Comey said the woman does not live locally. There's an issue getting in touch with her attorney, and she may not even show up to court despite the subpoena. Our sources with direct knowledge say the woman has never cooperated with prosecutors and never gave them an indication she would be willing to take the stand during the trial. Exclusive and your sources. Y'all, it's just my belief that TMZ is in bed with Diddy. And here's why. This looks really good for Diddy's team. It looks good. It makes the prosecution look inept. It makes the prosecution look like they don't have their ducks in a row. And further, it makes the prosecution look crazy that they would have somebody in a superseding indictment that they have no real access to and never really wanted to participate. That does not make any sense. Does it make sense at all? Who does this benefit directly? The prosecution. It benefits Diddy. Who could a source be? I don't know. Maybe one of the lead attorney's dads, Mark Geragos. I think I mispronounced Geragos. Y'all know I will butcher her name. Mark Geragos. His daughter Tinny is one of the lead prosecutors. I have a love-hate relationship with TMZ. They're messy, which I like. But from behind the scenes, I think that at their level, they're operating on quid pro quo. It's like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So you never really know what spin you're getting on a story. Am I the only way? I've been saying this for a while. I don't trust them. And I don't believe that someone was forced into being a part of the superseding indictment. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I just recently did a video. I will link it. I think victim number 3 is Gina. She has gone back and forth. If you remember, she did a video with Tasha K alleging all types of horrible abuse from Diddy and then went back to him. we know that a lot of victims of abuse go back and forth to their abusers, but I think Gina did it for attention. I think that at the time, Cassie was in his life, and I think that she got the attention that she wanted from Diddy. Also, we saw later on when Diddy was a young Miami, Gina was having Twitter wars and social media wars with young Miami. Sending, like, I think it's Gina. But let me tell you another reason I think that this is the issue. I didn't even know about the Two Angry Men podcast with Mark Geragos and Harvey from TMZ. But now we all do because it's in court documents. Now, I listened to this podcast, which I'm sure Harvey liked. But something very specific I want you guys to hear.
Knows about, or prospective jurors. Wow. The Cassie video is coming into evidence in this case. And that opens up a whole...
Yeah, but not the CNN version.
I know.
They're right. Okay. But and your point remains. I mean, that's true.
He's talking about the abuse video with Cassie in the hallway at Intercontinental Hotel.
So it's the cell phone or what, the other.
I got to tell you, we did a Diddy documentary. We did 4 of them for Tubi, but the last one we did, we assembled a mock jury. And we actually showed them the evidence on both sides. They deliberated. And there were 4 out of the 12 who felt Cassie video, even though it wasn't what he was being tried for, was the beginning, middle, and end for them.
Look, I couldn't agree more. And you give the prosecution props. It's a prosecution by proxy, so to speak. And what do I mean by that? You show that video, and I think you said 4 out of 12. I'd almost estimate.
Well, those are who cop to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the old expression: 90% admitted, and the other 10% are lying. But they've taken that video. They, meaning the prosecution, they've recast it. They've said, no, this isn't about domestic violence. This isn't about whatever was going on between the two of them. What it is you look at this to see the kind of coercive effect or the kind of control that he had over Cassie, and that you can now believe that he would be a violent person. It really, to my mind, is character assassination. I mean, I don't think they're going to run away from the fact that Sean has. I mean, I've known Sean for a long time. He has a violent temper, and especially I think when you combine it with kind of the drug use. But that isn't what he's charged with. As you said, how do you get over that when the jurors may shut down once they've seen the video?
Yeah. Do you know is there a material difference between the CNN video and the video the prosecutors have?
Yes, I do actually know that.
What's the difference?
Clearly what has happened.
He knows the difference. Guys, technically, this is not one of Diddy's legal team. This is the father of somebody on the legal team, and we'll get into what the issue of him giving this interview and giving inside information. And we'll get to the root of that a little bit later, but I just want you guys to hear this first.
In the CNN video, which if you take a look at some of the filings, so I'm not talking about anything that's not in the public filings. In the public filings, it appears that not only has CNN...
He's saying that to try to cover his ass. Do not be fooled. This man is a world-renowned. In fact, he's suing Turkey right now. He's a world-renowned legal mind. Over $1 billion won for his clients. He said that to save his ass, but he is absolutely not supposed to be doing this.
Destroyed what they got as the original, but it's not in sequence, meaning it was spliced and it was put through some various iterations on the editing software, which to me, and you and I discussed this maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, should have kept it out. And it actually, and remember people, if you kind of look at the comments down below the podcast, people were saying that's ridiculous, that's ridiculous. By the way, the prosecution is the one who conceded that they're not putting in the CNN version. This is not the CNN version.
How does it change? How does it change the case for the prosecution or the defense based on the original?
I think that the defense has said in some of the bail hearings and is alluded to in some of the filings that fight between Cassie and Sean was not over anything sexual related. I think it changes it dramatically.
Over a cell phone.
Exactly. You got it. I mean, and you take a look at this, you slow it down, you take a look, and you're going to see that. And that really casts a different, I think, perspective on what was going on there. Look, Nobody's justifying the hitting or the striking or the violence. But the fact remains, the prosecution's the one who wants to reinterpret what that video is. They're the ones who are saying this is about sex or freak-offs or wild king nights, whatever you want to call what was going on in the privacy of their own bedroom. And the defense is going to say, no, that's not what it's about. Have you ever had a situation where your significant other took your cell phone? And does that take you from 0 to 60 really quick?
So,
guys, what he just did, mind you, very successfully, was change the narrative on a public platform. This is going viral because it is now part of the court documents. The prosecution is very upset that Mark and his people, his law firm, are there sitting in talking to Diddy constantly, but they are not named as Diddy's attorneys. But then he is going and trying the case in the court of public opinion. That is very slippery. How does Harvey play into this? Ratings. To be honest with you, I don't think Harvey really truthfully cares because he has become like the pulse of quick news sound bites. That is Harvey. I can't say if Harvey is paying, nurses and doctors and, maids and gardeners and anybody on the scene of something to present him with pictures, photos of dead celebrities and death announcements before anybody else gets them. I don't know. I can't say that. What do I think? Absolutely that he's paying. Just my opinion. I don't, I don't think the scruples and morals are there. We'll just say that much. I don't think he cares how he gets the ratings. I think he just wants to remain the pulse and the first. And why not? If your partner is there to give you information and it's going to get you, like now we know about his podcast. Would have never known. Is it smart and shrewd? I guess. But for me, I like a less biased approach. And that's just me. Do I get information from him? Yes, because the man gets it first. But in this situation, I think he is in. Why would he be saying anything that would hurt Mark's daughter's court case? If anything, he would go along and try to change a narrative. Are y'all feeling me? You get what I'm like? I don't know how more people aren't talking about this. Let me get into what the government had to say about this. The government respectfully writes the following the first day of jury selection in the above captioned matter. During the course of jury selection, despite the presence of 7 defense attorneys who have filed notices of appearances in this case and a jury consultant, the defense team appeared to consult with Mark Geragos and other members of the Geragos and Geragos law firm who were present in court. Mr. Geragos and his firm have long-standing relationship with the defendant, but neither Mr. Geragos nor any member of his firm have filed a notice of appearance in this case. Nevertheless, Mr. Geragos' apparent role as an advisor to the defendant and the defense team, the government respectfully requests the court to remind Mr. Geragos and members of his firm of their obligations pursuant to Local Rule 23.1. During a jury trial of any criminal matter, including the period of selection of the jury, no lawyer or law firm associated with the defense shall give or authorize any extrajudicial statement or interview relating to the trial or the parties or issues in the trial which a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of any public communication if there is a substantial likelihood that such dissemination will interfere with a fair trial. The need for the court's admonishment is necessary given that as recently as 3 days ago, Mr. Geragos spoke at length about the trial in this case in his podcast called Two Angry Men. Mr. Geragos' podcast with Harvey Levin, the creator of the tabloid news organization TMZ. During the podcast, Mr. Geragos opined on a variety of topics, including characterizing specific pieces of evidence in the case, described the government's use of the Intercontinental Hotel video surveillance as character assassination, the makeup of the prosecution team handling this case, observing that it could look like you're prosecuting a cause, and arguments the defense intends to make, noting that the defendant has a violent temper, and especially, I think, when you combine it with the drug use, but that isn't what it's charged with. In the podcast, Mr. Geragos advises listeners that he will be back next week to discuss further. As the defendant has repeatedly observed in the context of seeking relief pursuant to Local Rule 23.1, courts have an independent obligation to avoid the creation of a carnival atmosphere. That ship is sailed in high-profile cases. Additionally, in seeking court intervention under the rule as recently as April 28, 2025, the defendant has complained that lawyers for government witnesses have commented on pretrial litigation and continue to broadcast prejudicial statements. Here, for the same reason of concern as the effect of the pretrial publicity on a fair trial, the government respectfully requests the court to remind Mr. Geragos and the defense team of their obligations. Y'all, in other words, you are not officially making yourself a part of his team, but you're there in court advising them, and then you're going to the media to skew public opinion. Like, the problem is the prosecution didn't really ask for anything. Today, the judge basically said, file this again because you have not really asked for anything. They only use the term admonish. So you're only looking for the judge to reprimand them for doing this. You're not actually asking for anything. So the judge basically said no, but he is absolutely aware of this. So I wonder if there really will be another podcast where he talks about this next week. Or for Harvey, he's already won because more people are going to watch than watch last week. Probably more people are going to watch just to see what's said because this is such a high profile case. Harvey, for those of you guys who don't know what a stunt queen is, shout out to Gabor who put me onto the term stunt queen. A fraud, any person who knowingly participates in fraudulent activities for their own personal gain or those associated with them. Not that y'all really needed that. The point is, how are people not talking about this? Like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about TMZ? And also, like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're not new to the channel, hit that like button. How do you honestly feel about TMZ? Do you think that he's in bed with Diddy and Diddy's team? And that when he reports on the news, it's going to be beneficial to Diddy? Or do you feel like he's just doing his job and whatever, behind the scenes connections he makes, he is free to do so? Like, how do you feel? Put that in the comment section. Because when I saw this headline, I was like, there's no way. Also, to remind you, it says our sources with direct knowledge say the woman has never cooperated with prosecutors and never gave them an indication she would be willing to take the stand during trial. Now, this is an anonymous person. Who are these sources that know this anonymous person? If it's Gina's not calling TMZ. Excuse me. They said it begs the question, why did prosecutors add her to the Diddy indictment? And will they address her absence next week during opening statements? You guys tell me what you think, because this was the initial indictment. It says Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit. Excuse me. Often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims, including but not limited to 3 female victims, victim 1, 2, and 3, to engage in commercial sex acts. In connection with the commercial sex acts, Combs provided the victims with, among other things, monetary payments, career opportunities, and payments of rent and housing expenses. Excuse me. Now, we do know that either victim 2 or 3 was still being paid and was recording Diddy. Does that sound like somebody who was coerced? Why would victim 3 actively be working with the prosecution if she never had any intention of helping the prosecution? Who does that benefit other than Diddy that now is in the public sphere? In the superseding indictment, Let's see. It said from at least in about 2009 up to including about 2024 in the Southern District of New York, the defendant knowingly transported individuals in interstate and foreign commerce with intent that the individuals engage in prostitution and attempted, aided and abetted, and willfully caused the same to wit Combs transported, aided and abetted, and willfully caused the transportation of female victims, including but not limited to victim 1, 2, and 3, and commercial sex workers in interstate and foreign commerce on multiple occasions with intent that they engage in prostitution. Tell me, put it in the comments, replay gang, let me know. Do you feel like victim 3, who's quote unquote missing, never had any intent of helping with this case with Diddy? Or do you feel like me, like Diddy got to her? And now we're looking at a situation where she won't testify and Diddy might get off. I hope that whatever Cassie is able to do on the stand suffices. You just never know. But I will be keeping you guys informed. There's a lot that's going to be happening starting Monday, so be on the lookout for that. I will talk to you guys later unless something else pops up, which I really hope it doesn't because I am swamped. So you guys have a good day and like the video and subscribe on your way out.